we have the process, and we're going through the process right now. And that's where we are right now, part of the process.
Brad, I just have a question. So as part of the process, do we know if an environmental assessment form has been made public for the community members to speak at as part of the public hearing?
The EAF?
Yes.
This wouldn't be the time that EAF, because they don't have a proposed project per se.
And I believe, according to the set work compliance, I believe that might be different. I'll let you two all talk about that. I just think after another time, but obviously we don't know about that yet, so I'll just move on. But anyway, all zoning must be in accordance with the comprehensive plan. Clearly, this is not in the comprehensive plan. When something is not in the comprehensive plan, it is referred to as spot zoning, which can potentially be illegal here in New York. And I just ask that we consider that and ask that we potentially look at how our taxpayer money may be used in any potential litigation. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is just something that I wish to
As long as we're talking about the 2014 comprehensive plan, whom I was one of the authors of in 2014, I do know a little bit about it. It said 7 in 10 residents said that commercial development in the town should be expanded. This is that. It also said town residents understand the need for development, many calling for increasing retail, light industrial business around the town. They would like the development to occur in many of the abandoned buildings and lots around the town. Right there are two things right there. I'm not saying whether we're saying yes or no, but if we're addressing the comprehensive plan, we have to understand what we're talking about. It also recommended establishing PDD zones. Possible areas were Route 7 and the east end from Brooks heading towards the town line. This is specifically that. So when you read the comprehensive plan and want to share with the audience, you have to understand that you have to read all the parts, not just the parts that support what you're asking.
Yeah, absolutely. And but so is the environmental assessment form still available for the public? Because it's not, I don't know if the public hearing.
So that was included in the July meeting, I believe. We had someone from Delta come in July, and he talked about the Stewart's gas station, and I think there was an EAF form attached to that application. Am I right?
I think we have to
July.
check.
I thought I saw the EAF because I was looking at particular at that because I have environmental concerns next to the creek.
Any application usually comes with it.
Right,
So I
so
think
it's
you're
in
right.
the text, so it was
You're
with it.
responsible for filling it out. It doesn't matter what it is, special use permit. So, it's there. And yeah,
The clerk's going to check for you.
And also a little bit different from the comp plan is it's a rezone, but go ahead, comments, it's the public's time.
Thank you. I've got a question. Do you want to have 2 traffic lights within that distance? You've got one right there across the street from the property, right now. You're going to put in a new one. Maybe that's beneficial, maybe it's not beneficial. I don't know whether you want to have 2 traffic lights. Pardon me?
The light currently exists.
Yeah, the one right across the street from us.
But as well as in front of the farmhouse.
Yeah, isn't that across the street from our entrance?
No.
The whole property there?
No.
I apologize. Okay, I'm wrong on that. Is the elephant in the room no business? Or is I have a hard time believing somebody didn't make up, I have a hard time believing that it's not Stewart or AC Stewart. This gentleman can say, no, nothing's been made an application. It's probably a true statement. But the best indication of the future is
Mr.
what's
Finer,
happening. Yes,
I need to defend myself here.
go ahead.
I take exception to you questioning what I'm saying, all right? I am 100%, God strike me dead, I go to sleep at night knowing that what I speak is what is the truth coming from me.
I'm not calling you a liar at all.
You are implying.
I'm not implying. I just got this at the last
Gentlemen, we
information.
can't pass back and forth.
Okay, so, listen, the righteous indignation from this man, I'm just trying to give you some information. If you want 2 traffic lights, I guess that's what ultimately it might be, might not, I don't know, it's already there. Can we get a commitment that they're not gonna be putting a gas station there?
That's, you gotta remember, what we're here is to hear an application for a zone change.
Sure.
Regardless of what's gonna go there, and I completely understand that you would prefer to have it on your piece of property. It would obviously financially benefit you as well as the Chrysler Upper Plaza. However, you don't have an application here in front of us.
No, I do not.
Mr. Maybe does, and so that's what we have to address, not the potential for one on your property. As we discussed yesterday, you're welcome to put an application as well. Every time I've seen one gas station, I've seen 2. If you drive around Oneonta, you see down the street Speedway and Pereira, you see Sports and
Sure.
Rapido. On South Side.
Yes.
So, that all being said, I mean, we are here to hear his application.
Of course.
And so we couldn't potentially, while I understand your desire, we couldn't stop his application
I
for
wouldn't want you to
for
stop his
research.
application. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just asking about the C-store.
Well, we don't have anything on paper
I-
saying that. We've heard, just as everyone else has, but until we actually see something in our office submitted,
Yeah.
we can't, in good conscience, say that's what it's going to be.
I guess if I can piggyback on that, it has to go through a site plan approval through the planning board, at which point that whole discussion of what is going there, is it acceptable? And, you know, if it's a convenience store, is it the right convenience store? Is it sized right? There's a whole bunch of regulations. This parcel isn't at that point. That conversation can't occur yet because it's not zoned for any business, period. The discussion tonight's gotta focus on the change of the zone. Everything beyond that is truly speculation. And I apologize for the outburst.
I
I'm
understand.
thankful you attended, Mr. Feinberg, because Kim and I were wondering about that location. Initially, we thought, wow, no creek, no neighborhood impact, it's already zoned. So, but I know we have to look at what we are put before us, but I'm glad you came because I think it's been very helpful to know that.
Listen,
Yeah, so just regarding the zoning, not any C-store related, I just want to know what the board thinks could possibly benefit the people in Oneonta in that area by adding a commercially zoned lot. There are existing commercial lots going up Route 7 that are empty, that have stayed, empty for a long time. I mean, Brooks moved into that warehouse, but that was empty for 10 years. I just don't know, what do you see a possible benefit of turning that zoning away from residential, which is a high need, to a commercially zoned district, which is not in need at all?
Well, but I can tell you that the reason they chose that location, if they chose that location, right, was because it's right off the highway. It's got great visibility. It would benefit Angel Heights, it would benefit anyone in that area, because of its location. The other locations, there's gotta be someone in the room that's real estate, the rule of real estate, it is location, location, location. That's the location, and that's why they're trying to develop it. In terms of housing, we do have some housing developments where people are trying to add housing currently as we speak. That was part of what our Empire State Development Grant, where we got $1 million to extend water out Hemlock to promote housing. So we are working on that, and with housing, every time you create housing, you need to create services as well. You said yourself that a gas station probably would be good. Now, I can't say that it's gonna be a gas station, because like you said, it's speculative. So that's where we're at in terms of that. So in terms of public benefit, yes, the public does need public services, and that's potentially a location for that, because of its location.
And that makes total sense. However, 2 of the parcels in the lot where Price Chopper is are actually closer to the exit. 16, you could get off and actually not even get to that light. You could actually turn into either of those locations, and if they did have a C-store, it would be even closer. It wouldn't even involve the location.
Unfortunately, it couldn't because that's DOT right away.
But you can get right-of-ways from
Or you can get break and access, that's correct.
Right, especially if it's beneficial.
But again, as I explained to him, the situation here is we can't speculate on other people's property when somebody's here to have an application for theirs. We can only address when there's an application in front of us. We can't address things that are not in front of us. While you might be right, that it is maybe a better location, it's speculative and it's.
And sure, you say location, I get that, but adjacent are 4 lots that are the exact same location. And so, can anybody else deny that that's also as good a location on the board?
I don't think we can deny it.
Well, might I, we're still in an open forum. I mean, I'd like to get to a point where we can close the forum, and if we're able to, I would like to take a vote tonight.
I would too.
Before that, I just want to say that just please remember the countless amount of signatures that we submitted to the board, those that have been advocating in the beginning but haven't been able to at the end as well, because it's taking a toll on their own health, because they're stressed about their safe and affordable housing option that they've lived for decades is going to be gone. So I ask the board, take that into consideration. Think of the harm that can be done to our kids that have lived there for decades. They are teachers, they are nurses. And I also ask that we think of everyone who has come here in opposition. And if there was more individuals here in favor of it, I would love that. That's the great thing about having a community discussion. But there hasn't been. And so please take that into consideration.
Keep in mind, usually whenever, being having been on the board long enough, people don't come when they're for something. People only come when they're against something. You don't get a room full of people saying, yeah, I want to see this. You only get a room full of people saying, I don't want to see this. I do have to have a follow-up question for you, saying that they're concerned about their homes. How do you speculate that their homes will disappear because of this zone change?
I think where you should ask them yourself, they're your constituents. Not me.
You're the one that said it, so I'm asking you the question.
They're your constituents, they want to hear from you, not me.
Well, you're the one
All
that's
right,
driving this.
I'd like to, are there any other
I would like to
comments,
speak.
public comments, and then I'd like to close this.
Yeah.
Ramona Lipker. I just want to respond to some things that were said here about the development or the possible change in zoning for Emmons, that part of the property. You know, you said how the town wants expansion, you know, and they referenced a certain area, and I understand that. But I also understand that sometimes us as lay people, we don't really think about all the specifics. So to indicate that that means any piece of property along that line they're in favor of for certain things would be an inaccurate assumption, I believe. You know, and honestly, it seems like there is a plan. I know that's my personal belief, but I feel like there's a plan, and I feel like it's moving along step by step to kind of get to get the way that is wanted there. And I don't believe, you know, you said that Emmons is the property impacted. It's not just Emmons that's the property impacted. I don't live on that end of town, so it's not me either. But people that live in the neighboring neighborhoods around there, like right across Emmons Hill Road in the, is that Hillside and stuff like that? They're impacted also. So I guess offense for them to indicate that they're not also impacted by this, because that's not accurate. You know, again, I guess for me, the whole feeling on this, I feel like it's a game being played to go step by step in this process to get what is wanted there. And I also don't understand why we don't use available property first unless it's proven that that's not a possibility, and it should have to be proven first. We have a great logo up there, you know, farmland, like, don't use land that doesn't need to be used. And I'm for expansion, you know, and moving forward. I think that is an important thing for anywhere that we are, but there is property that can be used unless it's proven that it can't be. And I do think that this is a game being played with this piece of property, and maybe I'm wrong, but again, I take offense to say that it's only Emmons that is impacted by that, and also to assume that somebody, you know, we're lay people, we don't think of everything, that they meant any piece of property along there, I think is pretty inaccurate.
Please.
Prepared statement, Teresa DeSantis. This board has an opportunity to put an end to spot zoning. The citizens have had enough.
Anyone else? Ma'am, in the back.
Hi, I'm Michelle Clapperton, I'm at One Park Avenue in Oneonta. And I didn't come to this meeting with any preconceived notion. What I did hear a lot of was people wanted to say something, but there wasn't a lot of listening. What I was really encouraged when I heard Kim say, I need to learn more about this, because I want to learn more about this project. It fascinates me. I mean, there was so much misinformation put out in a local newspaper, on social media, and I think what needs to happen, and I am so sorry that you ever had to experience what you did, because that's not who I am. And I didn't believe that that's what this town is, and I'm so sorry. But I want to learn more. And instead of putting, knocking everything down and saying, okay, we're not going to do this. I've been in the business of helping businesses grow for over a quarter of a century. I need to learn about, but before I do anything for anybody, I need to know, I want to sit and I want to learn exactly what their goals are and what they want to do, and how that will impact. And if I need to research more, I'm going to research more. If I want to talk to them directly, I'd like to talk to them directly. Because hearsay and social media posts don't tell you what's really going on. It just incites a lot of fear. And all I can think about today, when I'm sitting here, is contempt prior to investigation. I want to investigate, I want to learn more. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Well said, thank you.
I just want to say, I think the bottom line is not what's going where. The bottom line is people want to see residential areas remain residential. And if you come into the town with a business in mind, welcome. But go where the businesses go. Don't take the land that's residential and agriculture and force that change on the community. And I think people show up because they feel like they can make a difference by speaking out. So I would say it's the zoning piece. People don't want that change. They don't want their neighborhoods to become commercial. They just don't. To me, it's not what goes where, it's how you're doing it. Don't buy land that's zoned that way if you have another whole plan in mind when you do that, because it's not okay.
Thank you, Beth.
There's no other further comments. We'll close the public hearing. Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Second.
Call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Discussion.
Are we able to vote on this tonight?
Yes.
You can, I don't.
Make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to vote on the zoning amendment application for Emmons Farms Farmhouse parcel conversion from a B, convert to a B2.
So your motion is that we vote tonight. I make a motion that we vote tonight.
She just made.
Do we need the motion to vote? Yes,
She just
yes.
made
We need okay. I second the motion, we vote. Yes. The motions we vote.
No.
Wait, clarify it then. Clarify what we're doing. We're gonna vote on the, okay, now we're voting. I vote no to rezone. Okay.
Motion clarified, it's to approve or vote to deny.
She made the motion, so can you please clarify?
Clarify the motion.
I vote to deny the zoning amendment application for Emmons Farms Farmhouse.
I second the motion to deny the rezone.
Clerk call roll.
Well, wait a minute, so then if I'm voting to deny by voting yes, that means I am against the zone change, correct?
I am against the zone change, I second. Is that good? No.
Ryan?
Are we ready?
Bear with us. What, in the, I vote no on the zone change.
Yes.
Yes to deny the zone change.
I would like to read my statement. The proposed rezoning at the corner of Emmons and County Road 7 has definitely weighed on my mind. While I see potential benefits, such as a gas station on the east side of town and a new building site, there are several unresolved issues that lead me to vote against the zone change at this time. I outlined 5 key areas of concern. 1 is the alignment with the comprehensive plan. The town's 2014 comprehensive plan, though outdated, prioritizes the development of townhouses and condominiums along this corridor. Please see page 11. Given the rise in short-term rentals and the shortage of affordable long-term housing, this site presents an opportunity to address a pressing community need. While I understand infrastructure concerns and limitations, housing still warrants a serious conversation. More broadly, County Road 7 is showing signs of distress. Vacant and overgrown properties like the old Sunoco station, Pizza Hut, the former 20th century pool and spa, and now the vacancy where Walgreens once occupied. These issues call for a comprehensive, community-driven plan, not isolated development. 2, concerns with B2 zoning request. The B2 business district is intended for heavier commercial uses separate from those uses which are primarily oriented toward the highway traveler. See Chapter 130-30 of our code. While some B2 uses, such as restaurants or a gas station, might fit, others do not. Permitted uses like auto showrooms, truck or farm equipment dealers, mobile home sales, snowmobile sales, car washes, among others, see the town code for a list, are not appropriate for this location and raise concerns about future development. 3, environmental impact. Even with modern protections, the environmental risk of a gas station, and on the July 9th meeting, we had a presentation from Anakin Major, who was the assistant engineer at Delta Engineering, presented to the board a design for a service station. He didn't say Stewart's, but presented to the board a design for a service station plan. The nearby stream flows directly into the Susquehanna River, and runoff from vehicles and pumps poses a real threat to water quality. 4, traffic and safety. If the Department of Transportation creates a direct in and out access via the existing stoplight, I worry about increased congestion, altered traffic patterns, and safety risks of drivers and pedestrians. 5, community input. Residents, especially those near Emmons Farms, have expressed concerns about the zone change and its impact. Too often, I've seen projects move forward with little to no community consultation. The people deserve a voice in decisions that affect their neighborhoods. For these reasons, I am voting against the proposed zone change. I am deeply concerned about the deterioration of the farmhouse property, which has stood vacant. However, I am committed to working with local business owners, including Marty Patton and Chris Mabey, to explore thoughtful, comprehensive development for the East End. I would gladly host a community-wide gathering at my home to bring together residents and business leaders to discuss a vision for that area.
I'm gonna vote no, and the reason why I'm voting no is because I don't know if we have all our paperwork in order, as far as the, secret process, the referral.
So,
239 from the county.
vote to deny, you don't have to
have a secret determination, so secret will only be required for a vote to approve. There are only 4 board members, so a tie on the motion would be
So my worst client.
a failure of that motion, would still be in the same position, so you still see what it is.
So,
But in order to, you do not have to do seeker if the action is going to be to deny the application. But if there's going to be a vote to approve, then we do need a full seeker position. I see.
So no to the rezone, no to the,
Motion to deny,
got it.
so it's 2 no. So motion fails. If there's a motion to approve and it's the same vote, then it would be considered a denial of the application.
Okay, just repeat that again, if there's,
There's a motion to approve the application, and it's still 2 to 2, and then the application is denied.
so I'll make the motion, no, I'm not going to, that's not my job to do that, correct?
The motion didn't
Correct.
pass. That's So, at this point, we'll move on.
So isn't it, have we done enough due diligence to put it to rest? Can it be considered denied, or do we have to go through that second part of the vote?
You need the second part. The public hearing is closed, so you have a certain time period to act on the application.
We just did.
But it sounds like we need another vote.
Different motion. So the motion has to be to approve, and that has to not pass. The motion was to deny. There's a tie. There's an action.
Let's do it as a housekeeping, just so we don't have to keep bringing people out.
Yes.
So anyone can make a motion.
So,
We're deadlocked.
No, there's a motion to approve, and that to deny. The motion to deny the ties
is it in there?
All right, well then,
Rephrase them, yeah, rephrase it, Kim.
well, no, because,
It's okay, we can get through it, we're gonna get through it. So you're looking for a motion,
I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve the,
but she,
Vote on the.
because we have to vote it down. Correct?
Correct.
How
Put it
the
in there
words?
that I'm making the motion so that
We can put it to bed. I'm making a motion to approve the Emmons farmhouse parcel.
and so,
So just second.
just second it. And now we vote,
And now you're gonna vote no,
right.
unless you change your mind.
I'm not changing my mind, we gotta go to bed, all of us. Okay,
There were no comments?
so this is, I vote no on the rezone.
30.
No.
Enron.
Yes.
Oliver.
Yes.
Now we put it to bed, right? So it's a done,
It's denied.
denied. Go home, everybody, thanks. Woo!
Okay, we will now finally move to our committee reports, starting with,
There's no rezoning. No rezoning. No rezoning. No rezoning. 2 to 2.
yes,
Correct. The motion to rezone is denied. Pereira, denied. I know it doesn't sound right, Kim.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're still in a public meeting, so if you're leaving, please leave quietly so we can continue our business. We have committee reports here. We're going to start with highway, water, and sewer.
Okay,
Oh, Trish, before we start, I'd like to introduce our new
I
highway
was gonna do that.
superintendent.
I was gonna do that.
Cody Schmidt. People in the audience that stuck around, thank you. He has taken over our interim highway superintendent, post Jim Hurbies. Jason Oblinski resigned. Cody started a week or so ago. He's been doing an excellent job. He is an elected position, so he will be on the ballot as a write-in. We think he's doing a fantastic job, so please welcome him to the town.
And please, when you vote on November 4th, write his name in.
Yes.
And spell it right.
And is it SCHMITT?
That's correct, yes.
He's Cody, CODY, SCHMITT. Write in for highway superintendent.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you and welcome. Trish, if you could start, talk like an
Glad
entrepreneur.
welcome you, Cody, that was on my list too. All of us welcoming the board in the town. Brush and leaf schedule, the last 3 Mondays in October, so you can leave those out on the last 3 Mondays, brush and leaf. I'm gonna refer to Joe, he worked on a V-plow purchase for the water department vehicle, so Joe, I'm gonna pass it to you. Sure, do the, go ahead. Whoever wants to do it.
No, that's all
Well,
right.
you got three.
We got 3 quotes here. Palmer's out of Oxford for $10,247. Trucks Outfitter for $9,208. The difference between them, the chute kit is not included on the trucks, and the rubber deflector. So there's a little bit of difference there. As you notice, there's an $817 rebate. I'm gonna ask Palmer's about that and see if we can get that rebate. And then Cody got one from 3D Welding out of Annie's, which was $10,052. In our committee meeting, it looks like Palmer's has one in stock. Trucks said 4 to 6 weeks, maybe. And you know what time of year it is, so. I think we're better off than they've done work for us before, very efficient. And 2-year warranty on the plow and maintenance.
You wanna make a motion for that purchase?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Would you just say, yeah, say the name of the,
Palmer's,
yep, and the amount.
$10,247.
As a maximum. Potentially less with the
Rebate.
rebate.
A second, Joe's motion.
Okay, clerk, call roll, please.
Rudolph,
Yes.
Turkey,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Yes.
all in favor?
Thank you.
Wait, go into the next one, so Joe and I talked about this quickly. I have down approved revised sweeper rental quote. Jason was given a $9,150 quote for renting the sweeper. And now I called today and she said that Jason was told $11,500. I need to get clarification on that, so we don't need to pay them. So I'm gonna put that over to next month, on the meeting, I'll get the clarification, but it may be just over $2,000 more to rent that. And it was Cody, it was let me just pull out my notes quick. It's a little bit different. The one that Jason wanted, Jason didn't secure the reservation, if you will, to do that. So the one that Lynn I spoke to, she said that it's a 500X and it dumps differently. There's no catch basin hose. Okay, so I can talk to you about that. I think it will still be fine, but if you wanna talk with them too, to ask any more questions okay, so, I'll put that over to next month. It gives you time to Cody, if you wanna
Okay.
work on that, okay? But it may be more than we thought. There may have been, I don't know where the disconnect was, if it was Jason and Lynn, or I'm not sure what happened. Okay, moving on. Doug's International truck, that's number 173, needs switch the rear discharge to a front discharge. And Cody worked on this. So Cody, would you mind sharing about the front discharge?
Sure, some of this happened before I stepped in. We currently have purchased all the parts to make this switch happen. What we need to do now is we're being charged for the labor to provide that switch. And also in doing so, by doing some inspections, the bed chain for that truck is in horrible shape. It's been repaired many times. So there's a little more work that might need to go into this. So we've got a couple quotes. There's one from Henderson who we purchased the parts from for $10,210. And with the time frame of late December, early January, he redirected us to, and he is located in Watertown, so we have that time involved with that. And then he referred us to somebody more local in the Stamford area, and for the same, quoting the same things, he came in at $9,270. So closer to home, and a savings of $950.
Which we already approved at a previous meeting, about half that money. If it was, Trish, if you remember, it was 2 months ago, we approved the contract with Henderson for, I believe it was
43 and change.
4,300, so of that, what's additional we're looking at is the chain replacement, and the labor associated with that, and the sprockets.
Sprockets, and also fixing the steel on the bottom of the floor that the chain runs on as well, which is part of the problem. The chain catches on that and breaks the chain.
So the difference is like $5,500.
So that's what we would be looking to approve.
Yeah.
So how would you want to word the motion, Brett?
So you could do it with a maximum cost of $10,000.
10,210, something
The part, we've already purchased the parts as well, so the parts are already there. It's mostly the labor, and then the additional parts for the chain, and we had to take a lot of parts to get this. The removal of the rear discharge, to make it just a side discharge, and all the hydraulics associated and electric with that.
And it is a main plug truck as well.
Yeah, and you can get it in the next couple of weeks.
And he can do it within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We're on crunch time.
I'll make a motion to approve the $5,500.
I'll second that.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Fergie,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
all, yes, motion carries.
Great. Joe's worked hard on the swimming pool. So Joe, would you like to give us an update on how that's going?
Yep, the gutters are in place, all welded, ready to go for grout underneath. They installed all the bracing for the steps, and the concrete for the steps are gonna be poured October 17th at 10 o'clock, so if anybody's bored, they can swim down and look at it. They're working on all the plumbing in the pump house and outside rest of this week and next week, so we can backfill. And the poly liner is ordered. As soon as the plumbing's done, that'll be installed.
I love us here, as a matter of fact, they have it in your house.
Yeah, it's here. They're gonna install it, fill it 3/4 of the way up, and the start up will be in the spring. So that's where we're at right now.
Thanks for all your hard work, Joe. Also, we all thank Pete Andrews for bringing in more Southside businesses in the water district online. So we've got more commercial water supplies online, which is great. Cody brought up at our meeting, he has spoke with the Milford Town Supervisor, who, it's from Banner Road on Gifford Hill Road, starting at Banner Road in the town of Milford, over to the town line coming towards Oneonta on Gifford Hill Road. He's reduced the speed in the town of Milford to 35 miles an hour. So that was an interesting discussion, and Ryan added, that we no longer, that municipalities used to be tied to getting these kinds of zone reductions done.
I can bring that up in our legislation due to municipalities, the right to change speeds or areas.
I don't know if we
Could you look into it for us for the next meeting, because I think it would make it more uniform, that strip of Gifford Hill Road from the four corners at Peebles and Gifford Hill Road going towards the town of Milford on Gifford Hill, past Michelle's, and that is a densely populated residential area, and we always slow down because there are children and animals, and sometimes there's a cat that sits right in the road, and maybe it's Jeff's. I'm not sure. It's not a bad idea. If we have that leeway, I'd like to explore that. It's a height. It used to take really a huge, tremendous thing to get a speed reduction. So, yeah, that's great. So we'll just kind of keep that in the back of your mind so we can discuss further, not on a long night. Cody, Joe, anything else? Anybody? Brett, you've been doing a lot of highway supervisor?
No.
Anybody? Anything?
Cody arranged for a brush pile to be ground into mulch, so if anyone needs mulch, we've got a lot of it. We tagged off the city had it grind their mulch pile, or the brush pile, excuse me, and he was able to get it last Monday. They worked Monday and a little bit into Tuesday, correct?
Yep.
It's pretty much all gone now, which is good to do that at least once a year, once every other year. Now we have a lot of mulch. If residents want mulch, it's there for the taking. We certainly couldn't use the pile that's there in our wildest dreams. So that's about it that I got.
I'd like just to take a moment to just express publicly my sincere thanks to Brett for taking over the highway superintendent, and just the amount of work and additional everything that was just placed on you as well as the supervisor position. It was really incredible, and Joe, thank you for helping him out. Cody, we're really glad that you're here because it was a lot. They did a fantastic job.
Brett said your phone rang a lot.
Yeah.
I'm happy to give it to you.
We'll get it ironed out.
You could have thrown it right in them mulcher if you wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, it is beautiful.
He's not gonna, no, we're not gonna do that. Okay, that's it, Joe, nothing else from your end? Okay, all set, we'll move on, Brett, thanks.
All right, one last thing, did you complete the sand today, or?
I believe so. I left a few minutes early to go to my daughter's soccer game, but I will check tomorrow.
Seems like we hauled in all the sand we need for the year.
It looks much better than it did a week ago, that's for sure.
Awesome. All right, so we'll move on to public safety. We don't have much for public safety. We're just waiting on constable vehicle. We can't get here soon enough because the current one's been having one problem after another, but that's what happens when you use them. Facility technologies and parks, there's nothing on that either. Kim, legislative?
Yeah, just an update on our short-term rental ad hoc committee. Our committee finalized our work and we presented it to the full board. So, Melissa, thank you for sticking with that. I don't know if Andrea's still here, she snuck out. But it was a lot. It was like peeling onions. It's just more and more layers. If this was easy, this would have been solved years ago. So it was presented to the full board, and we just had a conversation, a very brief conversation about it on Monday, so we did not feel prepared or ready to do any sort of presentation, but our hope is that we can give a presentation to the community about our findings in November. But check the agenda just to make sure.
I could say things now, I could say things in November.
Well, maybe it'd be good to wait for the presentation.
Probably, there's
But if there's anything you wanted to like, for us, the rest of the board that was not on it, that maybe-
Sure, I might as well, and I can come back again.
Since we've all read it, I hope.
Melissa Jervis on East Street in Oneonta. I was on the committee. I own short-term rentals. I manage them for other people. That's the context that I bring to this committee and the community. I have a whole thing that I'll submit for the minutes, but part of what I did was a lot of research around short-term rentals that they make up. Well, okay, so we did a survey. I don't want to step before what the presentation will be. But the survey respondents were very small. The number of them was very small in comparison to the number of residents in the town. So statistically speaking, insignificant, and you're looking at it from a data perspective. 0.9%, I think, was the number. I think there was a lot of discussion around the lack of housing, or this feeling that there's a lack of housing for long-term residents to purchase or rent. And the short-term rental permits that are owned by non-primary residents, so you don't live there and rent it just for the summer, but you own a house and you rent it for that sole purpose, they make up under 3% of our total housing inventory. So when I think about the concern about the lack of housing, I think the short-term rentals make up such a small percentage of the housing stock that if we're trying to solve the problem of available housing to rent or purchase for long-term, we might be aiming at the wrong target, and it's just a very visible target, so I think it's easy to talk about short-term rentals, and if you really curtail them, then we might solve the housing issue, but I don't believe that's true based on the data. Oh, so because I'm involved in this business, there is some concern that a full-time short-term rental sits vacant in the off-season. That's not true, I can tell you. That is absolutely not true. Right now I'm housing people that were displaced by fires in their own home. I'm housing people who are actually renting long-term for the entire year. So I have a short-term rental permit for a house, but I'm not using it because I'm housing somebody full-time. I'm housing midterm rentals for nurses and doctors and things like that, people that work in our community. So there's a need for this type of housing, not just baseball, and there's a need for it. There's been no formal complaints in 2024 or 2025. Our regulations work. I think there's opportunity to always improve, share best practices, learn from reputable hosts. How do we continue to make that better? But I don't think we're solving the problem of a housing issue by restricting short-term rentals in some sweeping potential change. We can talk more about it the next time. Thank you.
So hopefully soon we'll have a, I don't know.
Well, I
I mean,
think
what
it's,
is-
well,
how do you
I think it's
presentation
good
on
to just, I mean, to show what we found and what we looked at, I mean, to present to the community.
It's, and that in itself could really be another meeting simply because you touched on so many different things
Yes.
that there's a lot to kind of
It is.
take in and think, what's the right answer based on all those different things.
You know, and maybe that's the way to think about it, maybe we do these sort of, meetings, specialized kinds of meetings where we can spend time really thinking and listening and getting involved in something.
I think honestly that maybe the answer moving forward
Yeah.
for some of these bigger hot topics, because on our committee meetings, sometimes we kind of rush through things because there's just not enough time in the day to talk about them all. And so the ones that take a deeper understanding, I think that's what we might want to consider moving forward.
I like your idea about that.
But, so let's think about how we're going to address that, and make the presentation, so anyone and everyone can hear it, and, just like anything else, have the opportunity to comment, ask questions, and then we can take that in and figure out what we want to do next from there. If anything, we may not want to do anything, as you said, we may realize when it's all said and done, we're not manufacturing a problem, but we're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. But I think we need to all talk about that. Thank you. Attorney, no, I skipped over a whole bunch. Human resources, no, we don't have that anyways. Attorney, anything? No. Code enforcement, Clinton, our new code enforcer. So we got Cody, we got Clinton, we got a lot of new names. We're getting name tags. We actually did buy a name tag machine for different reasons, nevertheless. Clinton's doing an excellent job as well. He started to obviously do his inspections as every code enforcer would do, but he's also started to aggressively target some of the subject properties that we've had that have been blighted, must be the best word, and had numerous complaints. So he's starting to chop at that, which is good. We've already seen results. If you've driven by Reinhardt there, that property had been overgrown, and we're finally getting some actual items. Mowing the grass was a big step. So one thing at a time, but in his free time, which he doesn't have a lot of, because he's filling 1.5 positions, he's taken on that little, I guess you'd say, side project. So that's good. The next thing we have is a resolution. Resolution number 2025-0128. Oh, it changed? 131. So 0131? Okay. Let's read it. Proposed action. Cooperstown All-Star Village Water System Improvements Projects Resolution determining that the proposed Cooperstown All-Star Village Water System Improvements Project is an unlisted action and will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment. So that's the proposed resolution.
Is this part of the engineering process that we have to do, or why do we have to do this resolution?
Close secret.
To what?
That's their close secret on the water project, to go from
Okay.
the city to the campus.
So it's part of the.
Secret, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, environmental review. Yeah, and also part of the district formation.
I'm sorry, this.
And also part of the district formation.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
district number 2,
Yeah.
right.
The district number-
West End Water District number 2. 002. So this is, yes, part of the project, or part of the process, excuse me. So we'll be typical on that. Yeah, okay. So, I'd like to make a motion that the proposed action will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment. So, and at the same time declare it unlisted.
That's unlisted action will not have a significant adverse impact on that or issue of any other declaration.
Okay. So add that, or declare a declaration. So that's a motion.
I'll second that. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, next item is a vote to accept the minutes of the July and September meetings.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of the July and September meetings.
I'll second that.
Aye.
All right, we'll have a vote to approve the payment of the bills.
I make a motion, we approve payment of the bills.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Now, I just asked, but we will have our second privilege of the floor. Looks like we have significantly less people. If there's anyone here that has anything for the good of the order, please raise your hand. We'll recognize. You had your hand up first. I guess you win. Go ahead. Please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Grant Gaynor. I live at 6819 State Highway 7. I want to address the eco-yada proposal. I believe it's the third presentation. And I noticed that many members of the board seemed befuddled and confused about what the nature of their proposal is. And I think that in itself is very telling. I own a small business and I'm a partner in another small business. And if you run a business, it's pretty easy to explain how your business works. And I think it's very strange that it's so unclear after multiple rounds of presentation what eco-yada's business is. And I think the explanation for that is quite simple, and it's probably because there's some obfuscation going on. Because it's not a business to have interns come from the college. That's not a real business. Like, you don't make money doing that. It's not a business to grow lettuce with $1 million heating equipment, which is actually a server in a space the size of a garage. That's not a real business. So what is a real business, what we all understand and can get our heads around, and what's easy to understand, is that there's a ton of money in data centers. That's something that's clearly making money. And that is what makes sense here. So just sort of to cut down to what actually is comprehensible, like what's not really confusing, is that if there's tens of millions of dollars being invested, they probably have a plan to make money. And it's not amorphous, it's something they can explain very easily. It's not like they're having meetings with their investors and they're like, well, we might grow oranges or we might grow some lettuce. We're not quite sure how much, but it's gonna be next to some offices. We'll make a kind of artistic picture of what it's gonna look like. We can't tell you exactly the square footage, we can't tell you exactly how much energy it's gonna consume, but give us $30 million. Because, so if we put it together, and the garage was 1,000 square feet, that was $1 million. So the barn, 10,000 square feet, so then we've got 10 million. The initial proposal, 200,000 square feet, so then we've got 20 million, so we're looking at $30 million invested to grow some lettuce and teach some kids how to do it? I don't think so. That's ridiculous. What's the reason we're all confused is because we're trying to absorb something that doesn't make sense, which is that a business model that's not real. What's the real business model? The real business model is a data center. That's how you make money. And what do data centers do? Is they require gigantic amounts of electricity. And then what happens is the utility companies have to build more infrastructure to supply that electricity. And then what happens is they pass that cost onto the ratepayers in general. So we all here